3 days since I first tested my clockwork combat engine, I've managed to stack away 3 new temporary construct abilities. As of yet, I still haven't reached the maximum number that I can stack away. I just have to find out when it shows up. Alice and Eliza had their carriages come and take them home. We all enjoyed the time we spent together this month studying magic, and quite frankly, I'm feeling happier than I've been in years. I can't ever remember being this happy. And now, for the first time, I have the ability to start changing things. Within the next week, my father will arrive back. My magical abilities will allow me to sway him back. With my superior strengths, I'll be able to gain the favor. It's without question. In dealing with my other problems, be a piece of cake. In fact, the pile of books that I was supposed to read over this month that had accumulated from my studies should have taken forever to get through. But with the aid of my new magical abilities, it was as easy as breathing. The entire contents of 6 extraordinarily thick books absorbed in a few moments, all retained perfectly. Tonight would be another party my mother was invited to. It would be her last shindig before my father's return, and for once, I'm actually looking forward to this little social outing. I don't have anything to worry about at all, not anymore. Everything is going my way. I was simply in my room at the moment, getting ready for the next party. It was a little more than an hour before we'd leave. I stood in front of the mirror, wearing a brand new black tux. I must say, I looked quite dashing in it. I was offered the option of a bow tie rather than a regular tie, but for whatever reason, I tend to prefer the regular ties. I actually felt insulted at one time, as a woman tried to offer me a clip-on, as if I would ever wear something so appalling. But tonight, I'm ready for the party, and everything is going to go my way. This time, I'm winner. And suddenly, from the opposite end of I hear an all too familiar click. The click of a pocket watch being closed. I slowly turn my head to see him there again, perched upon my dresser, a smile on his face, one leg crossed over the other, as he slowly tucks away his pocket watch. Hello, my dear boy Reginald. How have you been? The man in the pinstripe suit asked. I take one last adjustment of my tie before turning to him. I smile widely. Actually, I've been doing fantastic. Thanks to our little deal, everything has been coming up aces for me. Quite frankly, I don't know what brings you here. As far as I am to understand it, you go to people when they have something that you need, or when they need something that you have. But as for the moment, I don't feel as if I need anything, I said with a grin. Oh, Reginald, that does hurt my feelings. After all, I thought we could be friends. I am quite friendly after all. Besides, I actually do have a reason to be here, young Reginald, he says, hopping down from my dresser with a snap of his fingers, summoning a slender black cane, seeming well polished, a very high quality cane, suitable for any man of high stature in society. You see, Reginald, I am in possession of a secret, he said, beginning to slowly make his way towards me. A secret that concerns you, and as such, I thought I might pay you a visit. See if perhaps you'd be interested in finding out what that secret is. I looked at him with a curious expression. Interesting, I replied. I thought you dealt in magical things, powers and knowledge and so forth. I didn't know you dabbled in secrets. Pinstripe, I said, tucking my hands into my pockets. Oh dear Reginald, I dabble in everything. When it comes to business, one should always have access to the best of information. And boy, Reginald, do I have access to information. Basically all of it. Every single moment of every single day, there are people all over this world making plans, plots and schemes, telling little white lies and great white whales of fiction. Just as well as the world is also filled with people affected by these things. People who fall into traps, who are bamboozled by others, who are buried in shallow graves, and so many other things, Reginald. Bad things and good things and things that are mixes of all. And the truth is, everybody wants to know. There are so many people whose entire destinies would be changed if they just had the right information at the right time. But let me ask you something, dear Reginald. The man in the pinstripe suit said, walking ever closer to me, kneeling down, placing the handle of his cane on my shoulder. Who do you believe deserves to find out those secrets? To have their questions answered? To know things they never would have known? Good things, bad things, in-between things, terrifying things. Who deserves to get what information? How does one decide? Now, people in different categories of, might you call it, moral alignment, make their choices on a few basic categorical things. People who are bad tend to decide who should know what based on who they want to see suffer, while people who are good decide who should know what based on who's been a sweet little angel. Do you know how I decide, Reginald? He said, looking me in the eye intensely. Effort, Reginald. That is the deciding factor, is effort. Who deserves to know what depends on who is willing to put the work in, to do what is necessary when it is necessary to do it. And how do you distinguish who is willing to put forward the effort? Reginald, it's simple. You offer it to them. Just like any other business deal, you offer them what they need, even if they don't know they need it. But just as before, Reginald, there must be a price to pay. One must be willing to pay the price to know the things they need to know, to put forward the effort. So, truthfully, all I'm really offering you, Reginald, is the option. The option to put forward the effort. Are you willing to strike a bargain, to cut a deal, to sacrifice what you must in order to know what you need to know? As I stated before, I am a fair man, of course. What I will ask of you in exchange for this information will not be unfair. It will be comparable to what you might gain by the use of that information. A fair exchange, one might say. In this case, I'd ask you a favor. That's not too big a promise now, isn't it? One exchange for another. A friend doing a friend a favor in exchange for a secret. So, Reginald, what do you say? Will you make a deal? I look at the man in the pinstripe suit intently. Should I trust him? Is the information real? Why would I need it? Everything seems to be going to order. What information could possibly be so important that he'd try to strike a deal with it? Is he just trying to get back at me for beating him? No. His assistant seems sure that he's simply not the type of character to do that. She seemed sure that he had honor, if you could call it that. That he had principles in the way he did things, despite his character flaws. So if I had to take a guess, I'd say that he actually does have information. The only question is the price. What kind of favor does he want? No, if he's here trying to cut a deal, that's important information. There's no way he'd come here for something that was simple. Some useless piece of information that didn't mean anything. It has to be important. And as creepy as he was when he made that little speech, does sound like it falls within his moral compass. The unique way he sees right, wrong, and fairness. Damn it. And everything was going so well. Now this. There's no choice. In a critical time like this, just when everything is starting to go my way, I can't afford a slip up. I can't afford something to go unnoticed until it's too late. I might have to pay the piper for this one, but I'm going to have to pay him for the information. Fine then, I said, looking him seriously in the eye. Information in exchange for a favor, but the favor must be equitable. Do we have an understanding? I said, beginning to extend my hand. The man in the pinstripe suit began to reach his hand down towards mine, but then stopped, pulling his hand back. Reginald, he said, looking me dead in the eyes, an intense expression. Before we make this deal, I do want you to know something. Once this information is heard, it cannot be unheard. It is yours, regardless of if you want it. That is the curse that comes with the truth. That it is, in fact, a blessing and a curse. To know can give one extraordinary power. The power to change things, to set a situation in motion or stop it, to change one's fate. But the truth can also be a crushing and cruel thing, young Reginald. Just as easily as the truth can give a man strength, it can just as easily rip the heart from his chest. The truth can drive a man mad if he lets it. That is the burden of knowing. If you accept this deal, Reginald, you must also accept that burden. Is that something you're prepared to do, Reginald P. Worthington? In that moment, the man in the pinstripe suit's glare sent shivers down my spine, so intense I felt it in my toes. I try to resist swallowing the lump in my throat. There's no choice. I need the information. Yes, I'm ready, I respond, extending my hand just a little bit further. As you wish, Reginald, the man in the pinstripe suit responds, extending his hand down, clasping mine. A deal's a deal. And in that instant, I feel a warmth on the back of my hand. I pull my hand away for a moment to see a red glowing seal on the back of it. A strange symbol. I've never seen it before. And just as quickly as it appeared, it seemed to simmer away like hot metal that is suddenly cooled off and stops glowing. That mark will ensure that when I come asking for my favor, you will oblige me. Once again, it will be equitable to the information given. I look up at the pinstripe man as he stands, beginning to lean into his cane just a little. Reginald P. Worthington, he says, a few days ago, your mother received a correspondence telling of your father's return. The correspondence is correct, of course. Your father will be back just when he says he will be, but it also included an invitation to a party at a nearby estate, saying that your father will meet you and your mother there at the estate. That way you can return home together and enjoy a party. Reginald, your father has no intention of you or your mother making it to that party. He's paid an extraordinarily large sum of money to a group of, well, let's just call them what they are. Bloodthirsty murderers. On the night that you're supposed to go to the party, they've been directed to stop you along the road. There, they will kill you and your mother. They, of course, don't know who's paying them, only that they're being paid to do it. But it hardly matters to them. The sum is enough, and to everyone else it will simply look like you've ran afoul of some terrible robbers on the way to the ball. And if you're wondering as to why your father would do such a thing, it's because he's grown tired of your mother. She was entertaining when he first married her, but he has grown weary of her, like a rose that is withered away inside of its vase and lost its luster and beauty. He has found a new rose to replace her. She has already sired him a young child. A strapping young man, physically fit, handsome, everything that your father wanted from you. But it would be too difficult to simply bring her into the household, and having a secondary child would rouse confrontation with your mother and you. So he has decided to simply wipe the slate clean. Once your tragic accident is a thing of the past, he can remarry with ease, and no one will call it into question. I stand there, staring at the man in the pinstripe suit as he tells me the story. That bastard. bastard. He would really, just like that,